Welcome back to week 11 of Fit with Mitch. Ascend Strength and Conditioning Coach Mitch Freeburn here. On this week's episode, as you can see, we're outside getting some vitamin D from the sun. At this point in the off season and for the last little bit, our athletes have progressed to having at least one track session a week. Stay tuned for this episode and we'll slowly work through and show you a couple simple progressions of where we start into our content for the day for these track days. Now, what do these days look like? Track days, we are focused on mechanics, stability, obviously high-end speed, force production, decel. Depending on the day, we can really craft and tailor based on what we're trying to accomplish in that one individual session. I'll show you a few examples. We'll start from our infancy, from where we start as we ramp up intensity and progress through our session. Obviously today I'm out in a parking lot, so we would start in the gym. We always start with our soft tissue work. That way we're getting the tissue warm and we're creating a good template so then we can produce force and stability off of. From there, we are going to work into some multi-directional stability work. We can integrate a med ball, some hopping, starting that introductory ballistic work to really prime the muscles and the nervous system for that high-end output that we're going to hit later into our session. We're then going to progress into some more ballistic movement. We're going to integrate some med ball work, some partner work. Again, what we're trying to do is prime that nervous system and that entire body as a whole. So that way, once we get into our sprinting, our jumping, we are ready, we're primed, and we can use maximal intent right from the first drill through the duration of our session. For our final kind of stage in the peak of our workout, this is where we're going to be sprinting. We're going to be moving ballistically with maximal intent. Think of the sport of hockey. Not everything is strictly linear like a sprinter or an Olympic track athlete. What we're going to do is then we can play with the starting positions, play with the parameters, give these athletes something to think about and process to force individual variance in their movement, which then we can best try and simulate what they're going to get on the ice, reacting to opponents, reacting to pucks, etc., etc. Just as a final collection of our thoughts, with these track days, we want to do everything with maximal intent, maximal velocity. To start with that, the body has to be primed. We can't just start from a cold state. Obviously today we're in a parking lot, so we would have started with our soft tissue work, our soft tissue quality in the gym. If you have access to a turf field, it can all be done on the field. From there, we want to get into building our dynamic movement, starting with that ankle, getting that dorsiflexion, plantar flexion going, that lower shank. Moving into that hip, larger scale movements, getting the hip flexor, the flexion extension cycling going, trying to prime for, again, those larger movements that we're going to do later in the workout. Moving into there, if you have access to partners or if you're training in a team group, we'd get into some sort of interaction work, the VMO that we've shot before, some mirroring drills where you're replicating what one person is doing. From there, we are then going to get into some med ball work. Again, we're adding layers of intensity. We're doing push, rotation, throwing, trying to give that athlete as many different forms of stimulus as possible to then prime that nervous system and work on that ability to produce force from multiple positions. Finally, at the end, you've seen us, we're now primed. We're fully into the middle of our workout. We're working on agility, change of direction, decel, linear sprinting, curvilinear. Again, we can change the goals of the workout based on what we've done in the past, what we're doing the rest of the week, and then we further tailor it based on what that athlete needs. The videos that we're going to overlay throughout this episode are just, again, one example. We can be as creative as we want. The key thing that we have to pay attention to is you have to manage your volumes. We start early, microdosing running to build up to these intensities. The last thing you want is to have an athlete who's never run or sprinted as part of their programming jump right into one of these workouts. We can get problems such as shin splints. The body breaks down and can't handle the stressors we're trying to implement onto it. So the only caveat to this video is, like we've talked about through multiple episodes, make sure we're progressively building intensity and we're introducing that athlete to more and more stimulus each week so we can further push that intensity forward. A little bit different video today. We're outside in the sun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can integrate some of this force production speed work into your training.